And good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Heart-Based Business Show. And today we are going to talk about transformation, one of my very favorite topics, because many of you know I do the transformation treatment so that people are not afraid to move forward in their lives. And it really shifts and makes a difference. When we can focus on transforming our inner being instead of trying to transform everybody else outside of us, it makes a huge difference in how we perceive life, how we work with others, how we think about each day, each moment that we are living in. And at this point right now, I wake up every morning and say, oh, thank you, God, the sun came up. Can you imagine? Do you know that if the sun is not up for 18 days, we won't exist here anymore? I mean, really, we won't exist here anymore. So when we could just be grateful that the sun came up, then suddenly life is not so difficult because we're looking at one thing at a time. We're taking one step at a time. And that's what's so important, is just one step. And I've talked to so many people this past week. It's been unbelievable how busy I've been. And I asked them this one question. Are you okay right now? And without worrying about what's in the future or what's in the past, are you okay right now? Because this moment right now, I tell all my clients, is inevitable. Right? It's inevitable. This moment is the only moment that's happening right now. The past is not inevitable, and the future is not inevitable because we don't know if we're going to get there. This moment right now, where is the inevitable moment? Okay? So the question is, are you okay right now? Anytime you get into a difficult challenge or you want to take an action on something, but you are afraid, ask yourself, am I okay right now? And your answer is always going to be yes, unless you're in a dire situation. And in the next moment, you might be perfectly fine. So one of the things we're going to talk about today with our guest is the steps. We're going to talk about the 4 principles to success. And it's all about transformation and how to take you to that next level. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Here. There I am. Okay, so I love technology. It's one of my favorites. I think I've said that on the show before. So anyway, as I said earlier, and thank you for being with us. Thank you for hanging in and for being here for this very, very important conversation, because I think you're going to gain some insight on the philosophy on success. And this is a wonderful woman. She is the founder of Go for Goals, and she has accountability partner services. This is something new. I haven't had this on the show. And I think it's very important that we have accountability partners. I have a number of them, because if you don't have them, then you never reach your goal, right? You can never get there because you get so deep in everything, and then you just kind of go, wow, I just can't do this. Many of my clients are like that, and they really need an accountability partner, and I'm their coach. So in a lot of ways, I'm their accountability partner, but sometimes it's easier to have somebody that just really doesn't know you very well and will just make sure that you get the things done that you are trying to accomplish. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Trina Sette, and she started the company that she has after spending thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours in the personal development world. And she discovered one thing that stood out, and that is that helped her to get from where she was to where she wanted to go. And that was her daily accountability partner. Now, the fun thing about Trina is that she has been trained by Jack Canfield. I know you know who that is. And he comes from the San Diego crowd of transformational leaders. I know him well, and many of the others there. And he actually brought her along, and he's written like The Secret and co-authored the Chicken Soup for the Soul book. I know you guys have seen that. So I just want you to know that she has a lot of integrity behind her, and she really cares about your success. So she's going to be talking about the 4 principle philosophy on success, and it all starts with deciding. Right, Trina? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Charlene. I'm so excited to be here. Absolutely wonderful to share with you and your audience.
Well, I think you have a great topic. And as I said to them a little bit just a second ago, that the first thing we have to do with any project is decide. Is that right?
Yes. You know, there's something that I learned. The phrase is 99% a bitch, 100% a breeze. And what that means is your struggle mostly comes from indecision. So once you decide you're going to do something, decision, if you deconstruct the words, is to make an incision, to cut off all other options or all other ideas. You have decided to go with this idea. Once you decide that you're going to buy a new car, then it's easy. You're going to go get a new car. But thinking about going and getting a new car, I should go down and get this. I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I'll keep my old car. Maybe all of those other thoughts, those are things that keep your brain stuck. So making a decision cuts off all other options, and you've decided, I'm going to do this right now. So I've made a decision, I'm doing this. And it's really hard once you've made that decision to go back and not do something once you've decided to do it.
You know, I was talking to my stepmom today, and my dad passed away about 2 years ago, and she was having such a challenge because she knew she had 3 years to leave the house, but she had no idea where she was going. And she was just, like you said, stuck. She just didn't know where to start in the house. She didn't know what she was going to take with her. She didn't know what to do with all the stuff she had left over because they'd been there for 28 years. So you can imagine. So today I talked to her and she said, I've decided. I know where I'm going. I'm so excited about it. And I just had to do a pros and cons, and I figured it all out. And now I know what I'm going to take. I know what I'm not going to take. I'm going to just have people sell off the furniture. I'm not going to worry about that. And it was like a big weight had been lifted off of her.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I'm sure those of you watching, just think of all the times in your life you made a decision and you decided to do something. And then look at like the couple of months prior to that decision. Like, where were you? How were
years prior to that?
Yeah. Years prior to that, thinking about leaving your job, it's like, should I should leave here and start my own business. And it's like, you think about it. And it's like, and then once you decide, nope, I'm going to stay with my job and have, this much in the bank, and then I'll leave. Right. Or yes, now is the time for me to leave the job and start my own business. As soon as you make that decision, you're not carrying that around. Like it makes room on your plate for something else.
Yes. And then you can move forward with a plan. You can, but if you don't make a decision, you got no plan. You just can't even figure out where you're going. And I think that's a really hard thing with a lot of entrepreneurs. You may have noticed this, is that they go to so many seminars or they attend so many seminars that their mind gets all muddled and they think, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. And then they do nothing because they can't decide on what to do.
I think they might just be addicted to going to the seminar.
That could be too. Yeah.
You know what? I get excited because there's the energy in the room. It can really be as simple as, what are we having for dinner? So if I don't know what I'm going to make for dinner, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to walk around. Maybe we'll have this, maybe we'll have that. But if I'm like, oh, we're having spaghetti, I'm going to go grab the ingredients I need for spaghetti, and pay for it and leave and go home. Going to the grocery store was not a big deal. But if I don't know, I mean, it's everything. Everything starts with a decision. Just decide. Just decide.
Yes. And then tell us about step 2.
Step 2 is commit to it. So you don't want to decide to do something and then take it back. And because really then you're back to indecision. So once you decide, hey, we're having spaghetti for dinner, and being very generic in my terms, because I think success is across the board. If you're talking about relationships, if you're talking about job change, if you're talking about writing a book, if you're talking about starting a podcast, whatever it is, you're going to make that decision. But then you want to commit to it. And when you commit to something, that means you have to tell someone else that you're doing it. First of all, you want to say, I would say to my grandson, we are having spaghetti for dinner, and tell someone. Or I told my coach, I'm starting a professional accountability partner business. And so now I've committed to it. So I committed to someone else that this is what I'm going to do. So what this does is it kind of gives us the feeling like if we didn't do it, we'd be letting someone else down besides ourselves. We let ourselves down on a daily basis. Most of us do. We say we're going to do something and we don't do it. But to make a commitment, it's like standing up from the world saying, I love this man and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with him on your wedding day. You're committing in front of people that you are going to do something. So that's a very important step to success. So the first is decide what it is you're going to do. The second would be to commit to someone else, at least one other person, that this is what you're going to be doing.
And I really, really like that. That's such a great example. Even if it is simple, it really gives people an idea of what that means. Because so many of the people, I teach sales too, and so many of the people will commit, but it's your next step that really makes a difference. And they'll decide, they'll commit, but then what? Then what happens?
Well, sometimes what happens for most of us is we get into that fight, flight, or freeze. Like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I've made this commitment. I've decided I'm going to do this. Now what? Here's the thing. All you have to do is take action. And you're like, but I'm scared. Then take a little action. Do something. You have to become the verb in the action. It's taking action. So if it is, I'm really being general on purpose. If the decision is I'm going to write a book, okay. So taking action could be going and doing some research on the topic. It could be writing an outline. I learned from James Malinchak, you should have, just make 25 bullet points that you would want to make about the subject you want to write about. And then record yourself talking for several minutes on each bullet point. And then it's like, throw it together and you have a book. Obviously, you could be more intentional and make it like something bigger, but at least then you would have the outline. So I have a saying, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, but you have to take action. Also, this is one of my favorite parts. Like, it's all my favorite part. But in taking action, you can also find out if you're going the wrong way. What if I said to you, I was going to write a book on coaching, right? And I started to make my bullet points, and then I could go, you know what? I don't really like coaching. It's not really my thing. I don't really want to dive deep into somebody's past and find out why they do what they want to do. Then I could see that's not really my area. My area is accountability partners. I like being the coach, or not the coach. I like being the cheerleader. I like checking in with people regularly. I like sunshine and roses. That's what I like. That's fun for me. And so that's the path that I went on. So there's something called on course, off course, and your body will give you a feeling about it. So if you start to go in one direction and you start to feel like this, I don't really understand this. This is not really like what I thought it was going to be. It's okay to pivot and maybe go into a different direction that you want. That's different than deciding and making a commitment. Sometimes you have to actually get on the path to realize it's the wrong path. Like that's not where I want to be. So taking action, if you're in reference to a football game, your goal is to get from this side of the field to this side of the field. So you can just do running plays and go like 3 yards, 4 yards, maybe 5 yards at a time, or you could throw a pass and go 40 yards at a time, and you could move very far down the line. So you're taking little steps to get started, and then you'll find out if you're on the right path. But you're never going to find out if you don't take action.
That's right. And what do you do about the fear? I want to bring up that fear, because a lot of times fear stops people from taking action. So what is your thought on that?
So there's a fantastic book out there called Face Your Fear and Do It Anyway. Usually the fears that we have they come from a fear of rejection, a fear of failure. What if, something terrible is going to happen? And one of the things that you can do is think, well, what's going to happen if I don't do it? And it could be that, and most often, your life will stay exactly the same. Your life will be exactly the same if you don't take the action that you were going to do. But that fear of rejection, there's a really great game I played at a seminar once called the 9 No's, and I had this too, a fear of rejection, or fear of looking stupid, like I didn't know what I was talking about. And so we had to tell people, we had to ask people a question, like, would you give me a 1-hour massage? And there was 400 people in the room, and we had to go around to a different person and ask them this question. At the same time, they were asking us their question, like, will you give me $1 million? We had to tell them no. We had to tell them no 9 times. But on the 10th time, we got to say yes. This exercise changed my life. I'm running around saying, will you please give me a 1-hour massage? Will you please give me a 1-hour massage? Will you please and people were like, no. Will you? No. Will you? No. And then finally I'm like, I get to say yes. And I got very excited. And so what happened was I had high intention, but low attachment. High intention, low attachment. I intended to get a yes, but if someone said no, it was totally fine. I just went to the next person. And so that gave me the ability in my life to not take it personal. It's not about me. If someone tells me no, it's not because they don't like me. It's not because they don't like the product I'm selling. It's not because they don't want to join my club, or because they don't want to go to dinner with me. Whatever it is that I'm asking, when someone says no, it's not about me. And I think that's where everyone really struggles, is because they take it personally. It's like at a personal affront to them. And it's not. I can't go to dinner with you because I have to pick my grandson up. I can't go to dinner with you because I have been out every night this week and I need to stay home, right? I can't buy your product because I don't know that much about it, and I've been buying too much stuff, so I automatically say no anytime somebody asks me to buy something. Like, you're not in their head, but we tell stories about other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely not true. People are not thinking about you at all. They're just like, God, no, I don't want to do this. My girlfriend just asked me to get a U-Haul and drive with her up to Seattle, and I said no. To sit in a U-Haul truck bouncing around.
Yeah.
To go by herself. So anyways, I said no, but it wasn't personal. It had nothing to do with her. It was I don't want to do that. That's not fun for me. And I'm 51 years old. I now make choices. Now, before I wouldn't have told her no, I would have said yes, because I wouldn't have wanted to hurt her feelings, and I would have been miserable the whole time, and we probably would end up not being friends anymore.
Yeah. And resentful.
Exactly.
And resentful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fear thing, I'll come back to that. The fear thing is, like I said, if you're earlier in the show, if you're in this moment, what are you feeling? If you can't predict the future and you have to let the past go and you're in this moment, then you can do it because you're okay in this moment, right? So that's how you overcome the fear. The other thing is, when you mention rejection, can I tell you a little story?
Yes.
About rejection? We all have rejection challenges because we are children once, and all we were ever told was no, right? Every time we asked for something, we were told no. No, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, you can't have that sucker. No, you can't have that cookie. No, we're not, we're not having that for dinner. We're not going to that place. Because as kids, we're really good at asking for things, right? We're really good. Right. But we get turned down so many times and we hear no so many times that we become afraid to move forward for fear we won't get a yes, because it's so conditioned in us. And that comes from childhood. It all comes from childhood and being told no. Now, I love these parents now that say, oh, we don't tell our child no. So it's almost impossible to work with a child that way. Mm-hmm. So when you want to take action, which I love, is that you have the decide and then commit, then take action. You have to get beyond that feeling that you had as a child that rejection is going to come up once again. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with how you were trained and the auto responses that you have to that no, because usually you cried or you got mad or you because you took it personally, right? It was, no, it's not good for you. No, this isn't going to make other people happy, but you took it personally. So now all these adults take it personally.
It's like, no, you can't have ice cream. It's like, you don't love me anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it has nothing to do with that.
Child. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on and talk about what happens after you take action. Go ahead.
So what you want to do then is have an accountability partner. I love this. This is absolutely another. I feel like there's so many game changers, but this was the biggest one. Years and years that I spent in personal development and all of the money that I spent on it. I went to this event and it was with Jack Canfield, and he said, I want everyone to leave here with an accountability partner. And I was like, okay, to my roommate, I'm like, do you want to be my accountability partner? Now, this was the most amazing thing that I have ever done. And I really believe the universe is out to do me good, because my accountability partner lived in Canada and I lived in San Diego, California. And neither one of us had long distance on our phones. So we had phone cards. Like you had to dial like 16 digits or 22, whatever, to put in the phone card to call international.
Mm-hmm.
So when Jack said our calls were supposed to be 5 minutes long, 2.5 minutes for her and 2.5 minutes for me, and we were to trade, that, because we had phone cards, we didn't talk about anything else, except in the very beginning, she'd call, she'd say, so how'd you do with your goals? And I would be like, oh my gosh, I have a millennial daughter. My daughter last night, she did this, that, and the other, and I didn't even get her. And I started like complaining and talking about, she goes, Trina, you've been talking for 3 minutes and I haven't even had my turn yet. And I'm like, dude. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll just tell you tomorrow. I'm just gonna tell you what I did. And like, I'm not even gonna, that's what happened. And it worked. Oh my gosh. Every day I would call her, she would call me, and she would have her two, and I say, these are my goals for tomorrow. And this is what I did. This is what I accomplished. These are my goals for tomorrow. How about you? And I'm like, okay, I did this, and this is my goals for tomorrow, and that was done. And so we made a list of 5 things a day, every day, that we were going to do, and we called. And I accomplished so many things in the next 7 months. It's incredible. It blew my mind. So when my coach said to me, besides writing the book and doing this documentary, what do you want to do with, your life? And I'm like, I should just be a professional accountability partner. And it was like, mic drop. He's like, oh my God, you should. So for those of you that don't know, I had worked at Jenny Craig as an at-home consultant. I worked in their office, but I had 30 clients a day that I called every top salesperson, top weight loss person in the company, year after year after year. But that's what I was. We just called us consultants. But after doing that and then going through the training program to learn how to be a better consultant, what really made a difference in my life was having an accountability partner. You don't need an accountability partner at work. That's your boss.
Mm-hmm.
At your boss, if you don't go to work, you're going to get fired and you're not going to get paid. What you need an accountability partner for is something amazing that you're going to do that is going to absolutely change your life for the better. But you're not going to get paid for it for a long time, and you're probably not going to see the results right away. I mean, it could be something as simple as cleaning out the garage and that stress you have of like the garage. But if you had an accountability partner that you said, hey, I'm going to take 1 bag of trash out and I'm going to go buy tubs. And then tomorrow I would call you and say, hey, how did you do? And you're like, I got the tubs. Even if you didn't take out a bag of trash, I'm so excited that you went and got the tubs and you took action.
Mm-hmm.
Your accountability partner is supposed to be a cheerleader, not a coach. You're the expert on you. You tell me what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And that's how I train my accountability partners is 100%. I can help people in real estate, in business, in cleaning out the garage. I can help you with your relationships. With your relationships, I'm not a dating coach, but if you tell me I want to have more people in my life, and I'm going to say, so what are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to attend this meetup and I'm going to do what you tell me. You're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference between an accountability partner and a coach.
Absolutely. Really. A coach is going to tell you which direction to go in and what to do. An accountability partner is just going to make sure you do it. Yes. That's the big thing. Yes, because you have to report back and you're going to be embarrassed if you don't get it done.
It's so funny how many people will say, okay, so they tell me they're 5 things a day. I call them the next day and I say, so how'd you do? And they're like, oh, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, we don't talk about that. I say, are you willing to recommit to tomorrow? And they're like, I can do that? And they get so excited. They're not going to let me down 2 days in a row. And they've never not done it. Okay? Yeah. So it's funny how people will do things for their accountability partner, but they won't do it for themselves. Like if you don't have an accountability partner and you're going to start a diet and you haven't committed or taken action or decided to do it, how likely are you to wake up in the morning and start drinking your Ningxia Red and you're taking your supplements, right?
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's not on purpose. You just forget till halfway through the day that you were going to start doing something. But if you have, they're like, oh, I don't want to tell Trina I didn't do something.
Yeah. So Trina, tell people quickly how they can work with you. I put your banner up a minute ago with your website. So just tell people how it works to work with you.
So how it works is you go to my website, goforgoalsap.com, goforgoalsap.com, and you're going to sign up for a 14-day free trial. Everybody should do this. You don't have to pay for this. So you're going to go in the first week, you would have a strategy session with a coach, somebody who went through my training program exactly on what we're talking about today, decide, commit, take action. You have a strategy session with them. Tell them what your goal is. They're going to help you break it down into manageable goals. And then they're going to call you Monday morning. They're going to you're going to set it up with them. 5 things that you can accomplish from the time you have your strategy call to Monday morning. It could be drink a glass of water, be in bed by 10, whatever it is your goals are, because again, you're the expert on you. They'll call you every day, Monday through Friday, and for that next week. And then you decide if this is helping you and you love it and you want to continue. After 14 days, it's $99 a month. If you don't want to do it, you can just cancel. But I think everybody should just do it just to try it and get the system down so you can see how amazing it is. And usually the things that people can get done in a week will blow your mind.
Yeah. Because you won't be able to sit around and watch TV and not get your work done.
You know, I'll tell you what, I even had someone tell me that they were going to, they wanted to drink 8 glasses of water a day was the goal. And it's like, great. As a strategy coach, I was like, how many are you drinking now? And they're like, oh, I don't drink water. I just drink coffee and Diet Coke. And I'm like, how about we start with 1 glass of water? So before I call tomorrow, you drink 1 glass of water. At 7:55, that person's going to run to the sink and drink that glass of water because I'm calling them at 8 o'clock. They'll do it for me. They're not going to like, they have to say something. So we make it manageable. Just chunk it down. We're totally trained to take your goal and chunk it down into manageable pieces.
Well, Trina, thank you so much. I look forward to when you have your book come out, One Woman's Journey of Transformation. And she talks all about how she went through her journey with Jack Canfield. So I think you're really going to love it. It's called My Life with Jack. So Trina, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. You have a
Absolutely. You too. So everyone, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it when you show up and you make your comments, and especially when you subscribe. It's so wonderful that you follow the show and that you get to learn these wonderful things from these fabulous, fabulous people that we bring on. So please come and join us next Wednesday at 9:30 Pacific time. We will see you then. And don't forget to join the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. We're doing so much in there, and we're even doing referral mastermind. So I think you'll really love it. So until next week, see you then. Thank you and have a great week.